Hi everyone, and welcome to our Leaders Live session dedicated to the Olympic world. I'm Marco Nazzari, Managing Director International at Nielsen Sport, and I am a big Olympic fan, as you can see from the memorabilia on the wall on my back. I have today a couple of special guests with me to discuss about the Olympic world. The first one is Aoife McArdle, Global Head of the Olympic and Paralympic Partnership at Airbnb. And the second one is Christian Voigt, Vice President Marketing Development at the International Olympic Committee. Hi, guys.
Hi there.
Hope you are both well.
Hi, Marco. All good.
Okay. Thank you for being with us today. And together we talk about the evolution of the Olympic Top Partnership Program. We will talk about what Airbnb and the Olympic movement discovered to have in common in terms of values, and now they are both working to support athletes, to connect fun, and to create a purpose-led partnership to boost the Olympic spirit. We have several questions. I will start asking questions to one of you, but then you can chime in and you can let us keep the conversation as much as possible open. Okay, guys? So the first question, I will start with Christian. Christian, I want to talk about the evolution of the IOC Top Partnership Program. I've seen in the last 18 months a sort of evolution with the aim of integrating more and more partners into the Olympic journey. Can you give us some highlights of what's happening and how the partnership with Airbnb fits this scope?
Sure, happy to. As you might recall from one of our previous conversations, we have been revamping our top program, which we just called the Top 2.0, and it was primarily the direction more from sponsorship to partnership. And in that context, number one was that we added digital assets for our partners. Number two was that we started co-creating marketing campaigns. Then, as you might have heard from the news with Coca-Cola, we even had a partnership model that was completely innovative with a joint top deal. And we added Paralympic rights. So it was a bit more of kind of new assets and marketing collaboration. With Airbnb, I think we took it to the next level because we even have an innovative collaboration concept around Olympian experiences, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit later. So that was the 2.0. And then the next phase is Top 3.0, which we are planning out right now for the Top 10 period. And there the focus is really around the purpose-led integration, where we work with our partners, for example, around sustainability and refugees. And another step two of Top 3.0 will be the data insights and data partnerships with our partners. And the last element, a little bit of a look under the hood where it's going, is the deep integration of the partners' expertise to help the IOC and to help the Olympic movement in its goals. So that's the general direction where we headed at the moment, and was a fertile ground to start talking to Airbnb on those terms.
Is it something you started with Airbnb or with someone in particular, or is it a broader idea of partnership you want to bring ahead?
I think the Airbnb partnership, funny enough, actually takes a little bit away already some of the what was meant to be future developments, and we got going on many fronts at the same time. But it was an overall new approach to our partnerships where we wanted to provide more value and return of objectives and be a bit more proactive as the IOC, as you can especially see from our co-creation of campaigns, where we now, as we're headed in our IOC digital strategy towards the integrating of partners in our IOC platforms, all of those things you will hear about today are already coming to life with Airbnb in record time, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. The second question is for Aoife. Aoife, I mean, what is the broader investment strategy in sport of Airbnb? Are you focusing on some other properties, or your focus will be just the partnership with the Olympic movement? And what are the strategic pillars that trigger the idea to create a partnership with the IOC? and the values that Airbnb has in common with the Olympics?
Yeah, so
I'm sorry for the long question.
no, that's fine. Actually, to build on what Christian just said in relation to the direction that the IOC is going, our partnership with the IOC is a deeply mission-driven partnership. It's not a traditional sponsorship at all. And Airbnb has always been about two things. It's been about human connection and economic opportunity. And so in our discussions with the IOC, we began to see that we had incredible alignment in mission. The Olympic movement is about diversity and inclusion, sustainability, Olympic solidarity, city legacy, and again, hugely aligned with the goals that we have and the mission that we have across Airbnb. And so both of us also with global communities, the IOC with communities in over 206 countries in the world, and we have a global community of hosts and guests in over 200 countries around the world as well. So again, we saw a huge and beautiful opportunity to amplify our respective missions if we bring our two global communities together. So that's very much the pillars. I mentioned human connection and economic opportunity, as well as the values and the mission across the Olympic movement, sustainability, etc. To answer the other part of your question, I would say is that even before our partnership, which is still quite recent, we signed it about a year ago, we did a local partnership with Rio in 2016. And as a result of that partnership, 85,000 guests were able to stay in homes across Rio, generating $50 million in direct income and earnings for local residents across Rio. And right after the event in Rio in 2016, the World Economic Forum did a study, and they calculated that had those 85,000 guests needed to stay in hotels, it would have required the construction of 257 hotels.
Wow.
So from a sustainability perspective, there's massive opportunity through this partnership. And then more generally, I would say it's also what we say is democratizing the games, making them affordable, accessible. On average, those guests paid about $50 a night. So again, we have lots of exciting, ambitious plans about driving sustainability, but also economic opportunity for communities and local residents across these cities.
Well, and we can feel the passion. We can feel how passionate you are about partnership with the Olympics. And coming back to the first part of my question, is Airbnb also looking at other potential partnership? Do you have a broader strategy in sport, or is just focusing on the Olympic movement?
So again, as I say, it's a very different type of approach that we've taken here. But when our conversation started with the IOC, it very much focused on the athletes. The athletes are the heart of the Olympic movement. But from an Airbnb perspective, we got incredibly excited about the opportunities to not only create economic opportunity for athletes generally, but more importantly, finding opportunities for our global community of travelers, hundreds of millions of travelers using Airbnb to connect authentically in new ways with these athletes. For many people, they're like superhumans. They're your lifelong sports idol. And through experiences, which is Airbnb's second album, if you like, we were going to create these unique opportunities for athletes, but also new ways for fans and travelers to connect with their sports idols. And maybe I should just explain a little bit more about what Airbnb experiences are, because it's relatively new. Airbnb is better known for homes, hosts opening up their homes to the world and creating economic opportunity as well as that human connection. But through experiences, we launched that in 2016. And what we mean by experiences is creating new opportunities for people to really experience places and connect with locals and see the city through the eyes of locals. And so with experiences, you don't need to have a home to host at all. You just need to have passion, you need to have a story to tell, and a desire to share that. And so if you transfer that over to the athlete community, they have incredible passion. They usually have amazing stories to share. And so what we've done with experiences is we've created those opportunities for people to connect. And just to give you an example, one of our hosts that we had over the course of this summer, I think we're going to talk a little bit more, was a host called Yusra Mardini. She's actually a refugee athlete, and she shares an incredible journey of her leaving Syria with her sister on the boat. The boat broke down, and because of her amazing swimming abilities, she was able to not only survive, but actually save many other lives in the process on her journey to Europe. And then today, she is actually an Olympian, an Olympic swimmer, and part of the refugee Olympic team. And again, a huge opportunity for people to hear her story. And then there's a deep collaboration with IOC on solidarity and their work with refugees, which I'm happy to talk more about as well.
Thank you very much for your explanation. And I have to say, I've been in touch with a lot of Olympians. All of them are extraordinary people. So it's quite, it's a strong concept that the support of the athletes, because it's a long journey, it's an extraordinary journey to become an Olympian. And the possibility to have them is absolutely amazing. Talking about the Olympian experience, I mean, you have launched the Airbnb Olympian experience, right? That is part of the concept that you have signed with the IOC. Can you please explain how this new concept is changing the way of connecting athletes and fun, and how the athletes welcome the new concept?
Yeah, so again, it is changing the way that athletes typically connect with their fans through creating these in real life experiences or online, which I will talk about in a second. It is a way for fans to directly become almost like friends with the athletes through these environment of experiences. But one thing I think we should add is that I mentioned it is all about human connection and creating those unique connections between athletes and fans around the world. Obviously, we've gone through a pandemic recently of the last few months. And when the pandemic hit, the last thing that people needed was human connection. And so we pivoted and we brought online experiences to life, which is enabling people to connect in new ways, virtually online, just like we're connecting right now on Zoom. And so we pivoted during a very, very challenging time. The travel industry had come to a halt, so it impacted Airbnb drastically, but also our community of hosts and athletes also going through a really difficult time, not being able to compete or to train, and not being able to participate in the games, suffering economically, and then everybody, the world, missing sports, missing the Olympics, and missing the Paralympics, and that opportunity to connect to the games. And so this pivot enabled people to find that connection in new ways. And we actually launched what we called an online Paralympian Olympian Experiences Festival. And we kicked that off on the day that the opening ceremony would have happened. And we had 5 days of opportunities for people to connect with Olympians and Paralympians online through experiences. And I'm happy to share some examples. But Christian, maybe you might want to add a few words there.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. It's great to listen to you. I think what might help for listeners is to take two different angles. One, from the athlete's perspective. From the athlete's perspective, talking about the accommodation that you can book through Airbnb. We work together Airbnb on an innovative concept to make a pledge that for the next 5 games we'll spend 28 million of credits for athletes, so that they can go and when they go and train or when they go to a competition, they can stay at an Airbnb accommodation. And then with respect to the experiences element from an athlete's perspective again, we enable through the platform and through the amazing connections that Airbnb has already built, we enable athletes to connect with this big guest community. So we have two sides of the coin. On the one side, the IOC brings the athletes, and on the other side, Airbnb brings the connections to the guests worldwide. And then when you take a look from a fan perspective, from an Olympic fan perspective, you go to Tokyo, and we talked about our IOC digital strategy and the games platforms. When you come into the platform, you will see that you can you click through stay, and you will see that you have an opportunity to stay at an Airbnb in Tokyo. And the second thing is, when you stay in Tokyo, you also want to experience some things, right? And so the second thing that you will see is we will promote the offerings of any kind of experience that Airbnb brings to the table, but especially, of course, the Olympian experiences, as that is then very special when either retired Olympians or people that have competed but then are able to share their passion of their sport, allowed to experience that in and around Tokyo. So those are two perspectives that maybe explain our collaborations.
Yeah, I think it's a touch of the real Olympic spirit, right? Because the athletes represent the real Olympic spirit, so it's a great initiative. And listen, talking about the festival that Aoife mentioned it before, you have run together with the IOC and the IPC together with Airbnb run this Olympian and Paralympian online experience festival. And I noticed that for the first time, you made a promotion of the festival across all the proprietary platform of the IOC, and what are the main results? I mean, for the first time, all the platforms were aligned and were promoting an initiative, and do you foresee that there will be more initiatives like this to keep the games alive across the entire year?
Absolutely. While we certainly will use the energy of the games, this is something that is meant to connect 365, also between the games. So the Olympian and Paralympian Online Experience Festival was really only the launch. So that means that we also wanted to promote the new idea that as an Olympian, you can make money and share your passion at the same time. And so there's certainly more initiatives to come, as that was just the kickoff, if you will. And yes, Aoife, you want to join in?
Yeah, speaking of kickoff, and just to give people an idea of what we're talking about here, maybe we have a short video that we could share just to give people a taste of what this festival really was all about.
Fantastic idea. Let's go. Do we have some moving pictures coming? What you will see is what we have worked on, and not only on the promotion side, we have also worked together on the concept, and with the help of Airbnb, explain to the athletes what actually it means to host an experience. Because not everybody is used to speaking to people about their passion and giving insights on how to eat like an athlete, how to train like an athlete, how to mentally prepare. And so there's a number of different experiences that athletes offered, and Airbnb greatly helped because of their learnings from all the other experiences outside of Olympian experiences that they already had made. And so we are able together to offer that to those hosts that wanted to provide these Olympian insights. And therefore, if we have the video, you can see some live examples coming now.
Welcome to everybody to my kitchen. I am Colin Jackson.
Welcome to our Jackie Joyner Kersey Winning in Life Olympian Experience.
Bom, pessoal, primeiramente eu quero agradecer por vocês terem marcado esse encontro.
I'm Lex Gillette, and you are going to see the world through my eyes, a blind gold medal athlete.
I am joining you from Tampa, Florida.
Welcome to the cooking, Swiss traditional food. We have so many mountains and climbing areas. And of course in the Alps, they always have the cheese. Personally, I double it.
Goal is to execute this 3 times and to execute it fully. Oh my gosh, Sam, what are you doing?
How are you all doing? Was I too quick for you there?
It's an honor for me to be on here with you all and to be able to share my story.
So I'll begin in
in 2004, which was my first Olympic Games.
Dreams do come true. Sometimes they come right away, sometimes they don't come right away.
I'm an athlete. Like, I'm a competitor.
I don't see the others as people I compete against. It's people I compete with.
I don't want to just show up in Tokyo and win a gold medal. I literally aspire to win a gold medal every day. And by that, I mean, I want to be so in the present moment that I create my future by taking care of my moments.
This is so much bigger than just sports.
Just to give you a few more examples, Naomi Osaka was actually one of the hosts in our Online Experiences Festival in July. And in her experience, she does it from her gym where she's training. She's there with her coach. You really feel like you're becoming her friend. She tells you about her life, her journey, what it's like to train to become a tennis champion. And the interesting thing is, a couple of weeks later, she was participating in the US Open. I was watching the finals. And I really felt, instead of just watching a tennis superstar, I was actually watching a friend. I felt like I knew her. And at the end of the match, when she won, her coach jumped onto the tennis court. And again, I was like, I know him. I've hung out with them. I've spent time with them. So it was a completely different experience watching the game. So that, I think, is the opportunity. Is you come away almost as friends. You have that intimate connection. You'll see that reflected in the video.
So maybe we share some stats, because overall we had over 200 experiences on Airbnb's platform, and about the same amount of athletes that came actually from 40 different sports, 47 different sports in 40 countries. And as you said earlier, also Paralympians. So we already combined our opportunities for both sides, for para-athletes and Olympians. And you spoke about the marketing. Of course, we together promoted it, and mostly organically. But we had over 30 million impressions and 2.5 million engagements. And since we decided for this festival to also broadcast it over YouTube, we had over 200,000 broadcast views over YouTube. So it was a nice kickoff, and we are very pleased about the results and the great opportunity. And I can only thank Aoife and her team, because they did an amazing job in this regard to help athletes on finding this new stage.
Yeah. Well, we're also equally excited about this. We feel like this is just very much early days, just the beginning, and the opportunity to build from here is huge, incredibly exciting. I mean, this is a 9.5-year partnership that we have here, so we're just getting started. But also, we mentioned the online experiences was a bit of a pivot during a very difficult time where nobody could travel. But actually, the friendships and the connections and the opportunities that have been created here, we don't necessarily see them going away. We see them continuing, and it's just expanding new opportunities for athletes or just for people around the world to connect in authentic ways. And so we hope to build on that and see that continue both in real life and online experiences, and much more to come.
Thank you very much, for describing this exciting activation that you have run. And by the way, was it already planned inside of the Olympics, or was something that you put together when the Olympics were postponed?
Well, I think as Aoife said it, we wanted to always do something nice in Tokyo. We were planning to build up this collaboration leading up to Tokyo, and then having everybody around will still be an amazing opportunity next year. But since it didn't happen this year, we launched the festival at the exact day the opening ceremony would have started. And it basically, since Aoife said, quickly Airbnb had the idea to think about online and virtual experiences, and it was just a creative solution that we found when nobody could travel. But I think in the future, and Aoife, correct me if I'm wrong, my prediction is that virtual and online experiences are here to stay. They will just be complemented. It will become some sort of a hybrid model where sometimes you enjoy actually being physically active and having this direct interaction with an athlete. But sometimes when you can't travel or the athlete is too far away, it works online as well.
Yeah, very much so. As I say, as Christian said, it was not planned. It was a pivot during a very challenging time. But again, the spirit of this partnership is to be creative, innovative, and nimble, and adapt to what's happening in the world. And we're going to continue to do that. I would also say that creating these economic opportunities for the athletes, as well as human connection, was incredibly important during this difficult time. But definitely see that continuing beyond the games. And in fact, the lifestyle of athletes, it suits them really. They're on the road, they're training so intensively. So being able to do it online, wherever they are in the world, is actually a bonus for them. And again, an increased opportunity.
Thank you very much. And because we demonstrated that the way of connecting athletes with fun is changing, Christian, as I asked before in my original question, do you have any numbers coming from the online and digital coverage the IOC channel gave to the event? I assume it was a big success, right?
Yeah, it was. So basically it was across all of our channels, and that was done for the first time. As you know, when the Olympic channel was launched in 2016, we had a founding partnership program, which was already kind of a development program. But to this to work together with a partner and for the support of athletes. So it was on all our social handles, on Olympic.org, on Olympic channel, so you could watch it everywhere. And so we really fast-tracked what was planned for the future because of the energy that Aoife and Airbnb brought to the table. And that's certainly something we plan to continue, and we'll do also for Tokyo. And so the numbers I gave you earlier, the 30 million impressions and the 2.5 million engagements. This is really from our joint promotion of this festival and the launch of this new experience category, as we refer to it.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have 5 minutes left, so conscious of the time, we have likely the last question. We are facing 2 back-to-back Olympic Games, one in Tokyo in 2021 and Beijing 2022. Do you believe this can create issues or opportunities to the sponsorship activation plan, both on the IOC side and the top partner side? I mean, for the IOC, I assume it will be a big effort also logistically. But it's also an opportunity probably because being both in Asia, they can create a sort of continuity, right, between Japan and China.
Yeah, I'm probably a little biased there, Marco. I will say then 2 of the most exciting cities in Asia. When you come from Tokyo to Beijing, and there's going to be a fantastic energy. And as our new digital engagement and marketing team, who are now in charge to drive strategically consumer and fan engagements, will say it's a flame-to-flame opportunity, because never has the period between the summer and the winter games only been like 6 months. So I think we can keep some of that attention, partly because of our collaboration with Airbnb, but also with others. And we have, a very powerful partner with Alibaba in China. And so we will have certainly a lot of opportunity to keep the interest going and to shift it from winter to summer. And that's certainly our goal. And I'm incredibly optimistic that not only Tokyo, but then leading up to Beijing, this is where the world will come together. And I think the marketing you will see will be on the next level, simply because it creates hope. And after all this dark time, we will get through this. We know that we just have to have the right kind of measures in place and to have everybody safe. All stakeholders, and I see this as a massive opportunity. And maybe that's just me being optimistic, but I'll let Aoife talk about her perspective.
Yeah, no, I absolutely share your optimism, Christian. I think, again, we are relatively new to the Olympic family and the Paralympic family. And so having the Games 5 or 6 months between each other is definitely going to be challenging, but also exciting. And as I said, we're adapting quickly to what's happening in the world. And so for us, we look forward to kicking off in Tokyo. It's going to be an incredible moment of unity, global connection after a very, very difficult time, recovery, hope. And I would even say that the two cities, Tokyo followed by Beijing, not only incredibly exciting cities, but also in Asia-Pac and symbolic during a time, a difficult time, where the world is becoming a little bit divided. So it'll be a huge moment of global connection. I think one other point from an Airbnb perspective is we see our partnership and opportunities to build on connections with athletes and all of the different objectives, economic opportunity, human connection, as something that will continue 365 days a year, not going to be just concentrated during games time. So while obviously there are incredibly exciting opportunities, the spirit of our partnership is to keep this spirit alive 365 days a year. So it'll be ongoing and not just during games time.
I totally second that, Aoife, because athletes are not just competing, they're training, they're getting ready, and so those are the interesting stories. It's not just about the moment of where you shine, it's also about the all year round support. And that is not only when you travel and need accommodation, but also when you want to share that passion. As we all know, that it's not only the million euro income sports, but it's some humble sports, and to have an income opportunity and share your passion at the same time is great. And I think it will be great support next to the other support that the IOC does with its Athlete 365 platform, where this really neatly fits into our and is a very new way to support our athlete family.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. We are at the end of our session. We are on the clock. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your insight, your excitement, your passion. I think it's important to keep the Olympic movement alive and healthy. And I'm pretty sure that our guests and the attendant will enjoy what you have shared today. So thank you very much, guys. And see you in Tokyo. I hope to see you in Tokyo.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
And thank you, Aoife.
Thank you, Christian. Bye-bye.
Bye.